As of right now, I think the biggest question that I pose for mathematicians is why? Why do it do what it do? How does it work? Like, I am really frustrated with the whole problem of mathematics and how it's being taught in society, and everybody's arguing about it. And I'm not a stupid person. I'm definitely fairly mathematically illiterate, and brushing up on these skills. And right now I'm hung up on cross multiplication, and what I see is, with the fractions, you guys are multiplying the bottom by the top. But why would I want to do that? Because the way I look at it, I'm getting this massive number over this denominator that remains the same. Why would I even keep my denominator the same? I understand that it works in mathematics. Somehow I can apply it, I can use it, but my mind is rejecting the concept. Like, I cannot comprehend why the hell we would even use cross multiplication rather than multiplying across to find common denominators. Like, it does not make any sense. And, I'm using this really cool YouTube site thingy that I found that this guy is, I definitely think, a pioneer in how he's addressing mathematics. But I had to reach out to find more information on cross multiplication, and I'm seeing the same damn thing out of other people in maths and probably additional mathematicians that you guys are supposed to be teaching this material. And it's like, well, you just do this. Yeah, that's great and all, but I'm not going to remember it. And, math is supposed to be the language of the universe. It's supposed to be the language of nature. It is something that is so important and applicable to everything. And when it's, oh, well, you just do this, I feel like that damages credibility. It doesn't look good for the level of expertise that is being exemplified by the people who are teaching. I find it very confusing. It's like walking into a room of physicists and you're an English major and they're using their technical language and trying to talk to you, and you're just scratching your head. And in general, I see that as a major problem. Is even in the sciences, people do not realize what kind of an audience they are communicating to, and therefore the science that they're trying to relay, which could be very important. We've got this big debate going on about climate change. I try to pull articles, and barely a quarter of it makes a lick of sense. I try to reach out to professionals, and I still don't understand what they're saying. And it's because things are not being broken down into simple, understandable, logical, and reasonable terms. So I feel like I need to complain about math right now, and I'm seeing this debate that's happening about how math is being taught, about how a lot of people are math illiterate. These guys are using video to educate the public about mathematics for free, and I find that to be a lot more effective because they're able to migrate things on the screen, whereas if I have a professor with a chalkboard and they're writing and it's all in one place and they can't move it, I feel like that does make it more difficult to quickly express an idea. I think another thing that these guys are doing right is they are making it rational. So for example, in division, you're breaking things into groups. You have so many cookies and you have to share with your friends. Things like that just make sense. Like, there is a reason why the maths is there. The maths developed for a reason. They came to be into existence for a reason. And then they're an international phenomenon. All these countries are doing math, and they developed it independently. So for that very reason alone, it's relevant. And with an ever-changing, evolving society like we have today that is growing so freaking fast, I am losing my mind trying to keep up with all the crap just to have a smidge of competitive edge so that I can have a future, which is just stress in itself. I feel like, these days, with the amount of stuff that has changed and is growing and developing, we are more and more reliant on math, and people are struggling so hard to understand it. I'm in college, the other students are complaining. They're saying that they still feel like they struggle with math. It is not being taught right. I have no idea what's going on with Common Core. I don't want to know. I'm going to have to find out at some point. But I disagree with a certain speech that I heard to an extent, in that I do feel it is important to understand down to the base level how the mathematical expressions work, all the way down into the basic arithmetic and being able to handwork all those problems. I think that understanding those principles is what's important. I think that if we know how to plug it out on a calculator, then yes, it is useful to apply technology to make ourselves be able to perform quicker. However, I do agree with what this guy is saying, in that we need to understand why it matters, why we would use it, how it is applicable. I'm trying to study math history, and I'm still fighting tooth and nail to even get to the core of where these expressions came from, which is just mind-blowing, because typically when you study the history of something, you can find the origin of the philosophy. What problem was the person working on that caused them to have this epiphany where they decided that this new way of doing things was important and relevant. And for some reason in mathematics we just look past that. Like, everybody is so hardwired to just repeat things like robots, and it leaves everyone around standing there scratching their heads. And I really just wish this could be handled differently, because it's driving me insane, and I know I'm not the only one. So that is my opinion on mathematics at this point in time.